campaign and really show who they are and what they're for. And people shouldn't vote on politicians because of their party. They should vote for them because they sincerely believe that they can make a positive difference for the voters.
Okay, well, this sounds to me as if you're saying the politicians need to get the message that you, the next generation, are not happy with how they're running things. How do you think they can get that message?
Well, I personally think contacting local politicians, like I've written to Rosa DeLaura and I've written to Lieberman plenty of times, because even though we are young, we are constituents.
Did you get any response?
From Lieberman, yes. From Rosa DeLaura, no, unfortunately.
Really?
But I constantly tell them my opinion, or I ask them questions about what they're necessarily doing. And I feel it's very important that young people, even though we don't have a lot of say in politics at our age, that we take interest and we hit up our representatives, because, you know, the job of representative is to represent.
Yes. But you're 16, you're all 16?
Yes.
I know, are you 16?
I'm 17.
You're 17. But you guys are going to be voting in another year or two, so I think politicians should listen to you. Go ahead, Sarah.
I'm actually on the school newspaper, and one of the other students that's on the school newspaper is actually a close contact to Blumenthal, and we actually had the chance to be able to conduct an interview over the phone, and we got to speak to him after the rally, and he sat and he listened to a lot of our ideas, and we had small debates whether or not certain things we agreed or disagreed with him about, and he actually sat there and listened, and he was willing to listen. And it's more of getting the youth more active and getting them interested in politics. It's not that they don't want to listen, it's that a lot of the times the youth doesn't want to speak up.
Oh, that's interesting. So a lot of time, which is why it is so important that Sims thought it was a good idea to do this program. Sims, that's interesting. She said it's more that the youth doesn't want to speak up. You had 3 people, and excluding the one person who couldn't make it because of a family death, you had 2 people at the last minute pulled out of this. Do you think a part of that is because they don't take it seriously enough, or they don't think it's important enough?
Well, one of them was very nervous to be on camera in general. She was very camera shy.
Okay.
That was one of them. But going on that, in not necessarily with the people who are going to be on the show, but in school, a lot of kids don't really show care or concern, because like they said, you know, it's sort of like a family party thing. You know, people just keep following the same things. A lot of kids in school will just attach themselves to a party and not want to find out more about it.
You know, Tomer said something about the politicians needing to hear what we have to say and to listen and to change things. But if the young people, one of the reasons that they do the things they do, I think, and I want to know what the rest of you think, is because young people are not paying much attention. When young people queued in 2008, you know, this country accomplished something that it never accomplished. They elected Barack Obama. But young people are not paying attention, maybe because the politics of money dominates, and if you don't have money, you feel like you don't have a voice. And because, as you say, sometimes adults are so focused on whatever their opinions are, they don't invite young people in to hear what they have to say. How can adults change that, and what can young people do to get the message through to adults that they need to change it? You have any idea, Julia?
Well.
Go ahead.
Well, I feel like the reason you said that politics has become like all about money, and you can only be a politician if you have money. Mm-hmm. I feel that the reason it's become like that is because we have this two-party system. Mm-hmm. It all goes back to the two-party system, and you can only run as a politician if you have money, and I mean for the campaigns. They paid millions of dollars
I know.
for the campaigns. When was the last time we had a president that could be considered a normal American that we can assimilate to and we can, you know, really feel like he's one of us?
You tell me.
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson? Oh my God. Oh God, that's a sad commentary.
It's also a bit of a joke, because if you hear about what Andrew Jackson stood for, was the common American person, you know, grew up on the farm and was very poor and moved his way to power.
Well,
anyway.
unfortunately, we don't have many farms anymore. But, you know, if you were to listen to John Bonner, you know, he's one of these guys. John Bonner is a Republican. He's going to be the leader in the Republican. He's going to be the next Speaker of the House. He said he grew up, you know, very poor and you know, but now that he is powerful, he wants us to give tax exemption for a $5.5 million estate to the very wealthy. So you have to wonder, what lesson did he learn from being poor? Let us see your commercials. Let's see the first commercials that you want to talk about and see what the rest of you think of this commercial and what's the message you get from this commercial. So can we see the first commercial, please?
I'm Linda McMahon, and I approve this message.
Dick Blumenthal lied about Linda McMahon's position on the minimum wage, about Social Security, Canadian fundraisers, and Vietnam. But now, we've learned his biggest lie yet. He said his countrywide mortgage settlement wouldn't cost taxpayers a dime. Turns out it did. At retiree pension funds, too, $8.6 billion. Dick Blumenthal took care of Countrywide and raided retirees' pensions. Another Blumenthal lie.
What was that commercial about?
That was a McMahon, Linda McMahon for Senate campaign commercial. And in it, first, the only thing that she put on herself was that she paid for this advertisement and that she approved it. And then it went through things that Blumenthal had done wrong and that Blumenthal had lied about. You know, she touched on a lot of negatives about him, but she hadn't mentioned stuff she would do.
Yeah, which is what Julia was concerned about, that you listen to all these and you don't know what they'll do, you know what the other person. So what did you think of that commercial?
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about how it's ethical, or if we can say that, I think that if she's going to talk about how he's a liar, at least she's not talking about how he's a liar about his personal life, or how she's bashing him about his personal life. She's talking about what his policies are and what his views are. So compared to other political ads I've seen.
Okay, so for that one, you think, so what are the good things about that ad?
Well, that she's not attacking him on a personal level.
Okay. Sims, what do you think?
I believe that is a valid point, although I don't think that attacking what you stand for is necessarily good either, because she should be more talking about what she stands for, and that her personal values and what her platforms are should, like, you know, be brighter than Blumenthal's. You know, it should be more noticeable, not have to go down and sink down to attacking his and striking down his.
Okay, so one thing that Tomer liked was that the criticism of his behavior was about his political behavior, not about his personal behavior. So you like that. You feel that she should more focus on what she's going to do for the community that is different.
Well, she's running. She's not on Blumenthal's campaign, so she should focus on herself.
Good point. What do you think?
I agree with Sims, even though he said that you should not attack you should try to focus more on yourself, because if you're focusing on attacking someone, nobody knows what you're about, nobody knows what you want to change. So if you don't speak up for yourself, nobody's going to vote for you. They're just going to think, oh, I'm not going to vote for this person, and just kind of keep herself up there.
So you're saying the commercial was telling people why not to vote for Blumenthal, but not telling them why to vote for her.
Exactly.
Sarah, do you agree with that?
I feel that that's become a deterrent now within the generations that are upcoming. It's just like they don't tell us or let us know what they stand for. It's just like, oh, he's so bad, he's so bad, he's so bad.
So it's become a deterrent in what way? What do you mean?
I feel the voters aren't themselves informed enough for them